Hello, I'm Mimi, and this week I'm celebrating my 3-year art business anniversary. So let's take a look back at the timeline of my journey, starting pretty much from scratch to a 6-figure art and content business in 3 years. And then I'll share what I think are the most impactful things that I've done to help me get there. To celebrate this milestone, I've made some resources to help you with your own creative journey, including a 2-week workbook to kickstart your creativity, a second digital brush pack, and a lovely big starter kit where I bundled all of my most popular art resources together, and I'm really excited about them, but I will show you more about them later. So how did I go from a pretty fresh Instagram account and virtually no digital art skills to being a published picture book illustrator with over 200,000 followers across Instagram and YouTube and a steady income in 3 years? Let's jump into the timeline so I can show you what that journey looked like for me. So in 2020, I realized that if I wanted to be an illustrator, then I needed to start doing what an illustrator would be doing every day. So I started making time every single weekday to sit down and just draw something. I started really simple with pencil drawings in my sketchbook because I needed to start small if I wanted this habit to be sustainable for me. And I knew that at the very least, I could commit to 15 minutes drawing a simple sketch every day. I wanted to post whatever I drew to Instagram to help keep me accountable and to start building an audience because I knew that I wanted to share my journey. In the same week, I started my YouTube channel so that I could start sharing simple drawing videos, and also started my website so that I could write some blogs to share what I was learning. This was really the birth of my business. Even though I wasn't planning on making money for a little while and didn't really know what I was doing, I had started setting the foundations of what would grow into something much bigger. I hit my first milestone of 100 followers on Instagram the following month, though when I started posting daily, I already had about 40 followers from doing Inktober a few months before, which was sort of a false start to my account. I kept drawing little illustrations in pencil every single weekday, taking a photo of them and posting them to Instagram. I started experimenting with using some watercolor paints and then started adding some digital brushstrokes on top of the photos I was taking. After 4 months, I made my first fully digital illustration, and from that point on, I was mostly making art that was digital. And a month after that, I reached 1,000 followers on Instagram. I had consistently posted 5 times a week, every week, and tried to pay attention to what kind of art people were engaging with. I had been experimenting with my art style and just trying lots of different things, and it was at this time that I stopped using outlines to draw my art and started drawing them without them, which was quite a big shift for my style. In December, about 7 months into my journey, I was asked in my DMs to illustrate a pet portrait for someone, so I drew my first commission and decided to properly open up commissions so that I could start earning a bit of money from my art. I had been really focused on developing my art skills and building a community up until this point, so this was the first time that I really started thinking that I might be ready to start building up an income from my art. A couple of months later, I reached the milestone of 10,000 followers on Instagram, which happened really fast. I was still posting every weekday really consistently, and my reach had increased a lot, and with that came new followers. I decided that I was ready to expand my income streams, so on March 1st, 2021, I launched my Patreon, about 10 months after starting my journey. It took quite a lot of planning and work to set up all of the tiers that I wanted and also start creating the benefits, but I got it started and slowly patrons started to join. By the start of the following month, I had earned my first $1,000 total as an artist, mostly from doing commissions and a little bit from my new Patreon. I celebrated a full year of drawing every weekday and decided to relax on how much I was drawing now that I had developed the skills that I had wanted to build, and put some of that energy into making weekly YouTube videos. I had been occasionally posting really simple videos of me drawing up until now, but now I was going to start making more valuable video content about the things that I had learned so far. In the same month, I got an email from HarperCollins Australia asking me if I'd be interested in illustrating a picture book with them, and of course I said yes, absolutely. The following month, I reached 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Spending more time creating videos that shared insights into my journey as an artist was paying off, and more people were interested in watching. I had enough subscribers to be monetized, but I didn't yet have the watch hours required to monetize my channel, so I would have to wait a little longer for that. We moved to Tasmania so that we could live in the countryside for a little while and focus on illustrating, building the business, and creating videos. I was still illustrating a few days a week. I had started working on my first picture book. I was making lots of Patreon benefits every month, and with the help from my partner Dan, I was making a YouTube video pretty much every week. When I summarize everything in a timeline like this, it seems like lots of big milestones and lucky breaks were happening all the time. But there were also weeks and months of just showing up every day, drawing, posting, engaging, and sometimes the things you work hard on just don't perform well at the time. In September 2021, I reached 50,000 followers on Instagram, which really felt like a lot, and my art style kept developing as I learned to draw more detailed scenes and experimented with different color palettes. By the next month, I had earned a total of 10,000 Australian dollars from my art and my art-related content, just under a year and a half since I had started drawing daily. Our YouTube channel got monetized, which was a really exciting moment for Dan and I, who had been making videos together for quite a few months at this point, so we could finally start earning some money from the free videos we were publishing on YouTube. One of our videos in particular started performing really well, and our channel skyrocketed from 4,500 subscribers on the 1st of October to over 15,000 subscribers by the end of October. So we went from having quite slow and steady growth to a big boost that lasted for a couple of months. In December, I had my first $1,000 month on Patreon after 9 months of creating monthly tutorials and art resources, and it was a relief to have a reliable income stream that, in theory, would continue to grow each month as long as my audience grew on other platforms as well. I had some time off over Christmas and the New Year and started 2022 with lots of motivation and plans for the year ahead. I made my first paid sponsored YouTube video in March, and my first children's picture book was published the same month. It took about 10 months from when I was first contacted about illustrating the book to doing draft sketches, final illustrations, and then the book being published. 2 years after I had started this journey, I reached 100,000 followers on Instagram, and we celebrated with homemade sushi. I had started playing with more vibrant colors in my art style and had grown a lot more confident with my illustrations in general. By September, I had earned a total of 50,000 Australian dollars in total from my art business, from commissions, picture books, Patreon, my YouTube videos, and my online shops. I was spending a lot of time working and juggling the demands of the different platforms, but I knew that I wanted all of them to grow, and I really enjoyed everything that I was creating, so I was spending most of my time working on either content or illustrations. I hit a few more milestones at the very end of the year, reaching 50,000 subscribers on YouTube at the end of October, and releasing my first digital brush pack not long after. I let my patrons test my brush pack first, so I got a boost to my Patreon from that as well. My second picture book was published at the very end of November, which was exciting, and I could go to the shops to buy it and put it alongside my first book. By the start of this year, 2023, my business had earned a total of 100,000 Australian dollars since I had started drawing 2.5 years before. Now I'm a full 3 years into this journey that started in my sketchbook with colored pencils, and although sometimes it felt like growth was slow or a particular post or video wasn't doing well, I can now look back at the whole journey and see the result of showing up every day and moving things forward, even if just little by little. This YouTube channel is approaching 100,000 subscribers, which will be a really exciting milestone to hit, hopefully in the next couple of months. My Instagram community has grown to 133,000 people. My Patreon has the most active patrons that it's ever had, and I have 2 more children's picture books being published later this year. There's a lot to be grateful for, and I've been really fortunate these past 3 years, but it's also taken a lot of time, energy, and love to get here, so I think it's super important to acknowledge my privilege, but also try not to undervalue the work that I've put in as well. So what do I think are the key things that I did on my journey that had the most impact? The most important decision I made was allowing myself to say that I was an illustrator, even in the very beginning when I didn't feel like I had the skills and wasn't working professionally. Once I decided that I could be an illustrator, then it was so much easier to justify spending some time each day drawing because that's just what illustrators do. Adjusting my mindset was a game changer. I learned how to encourage my creativity. In the beginning, I really struggled to come up with my own drawing ideas, so it took a conscious effort to train my creativity and get into a creative habit. But once I did, I always had ideas that I could rely on. I mentioned in the beginning of this video that I've been working on a creativity workbook, and I made it to help other artists kickstart their creative habits in the same way that I did 3 years ago. It's 10 activities spread out over 2 weeks, which is the same schedule that I got started on, and they're the kinds of things that I did when I was trying to learn how to come up with my own drawing ideas. It's a fun little challenge. You can spend as much time as you have available on each activity, and even if you have only 15 minutes each day, you will have invested 2.5 hours into developing your art skills by the end of the workbook. I've just released it today, which I'm really excited about, and starting from Monday 15th of May, I'm going to be completing the activities in the workbook and posting them on Instagram over the next 2 weeks. So if you'd like to follow along, then be sure to join me over there, and you can get the workbook for yourself from my Etsy shop. Another important thing on this journey is that I learned when to persevere and when to pivot. Sometimes things are slow or stats trend downwards rather than up, but I learned that perspective is everything, so I always look at my stats over the course of a few months rather than a few days. The bigger picture tells us a lot more, and to me, if there's a positive trend over a couple of months, then that's more important to me than just one good or bad week. If things are consistently not performing well, then maybe it's time to consider pivoting to something else. It doesn't mean giving up, it just means adjusting things a little bit and maybe changing to a slightly different idea. And lastly, I found a path that worked for me. There are so many ways that I could have built an audience and created income streams, but I didn't focus too much on what other people were doing. I did what was right for me and what I was excited about. I didn't want to do one-on-one coaching or have a physical market stall or talk directly to camera. Even though they're great for other people, it just wasn't what I wanted to do. I made sure that every decision I made stayed authentic to myself, which helped me maintain my excitement and motivation, and through that I found my own path to building a business. If you're just starting out or are early in your journey, then like I mentioned at the start of this video, I've bundled together a lovely starter kit of digital resources to help you with your creative journey, and I'm so excited to have released it today. It includes the workbook that I was just telling you about, but also my brand new second brush pack, which has some lovely sketching pencils and some crayon textures that I've been using a lot lately, plus my original brush pack, 5 of my most popular step-by-step drawing guides, and my prompt list to help you generate fun drawing ideas. I know that I'm a little biased, but I think it's such a great bundle of useful tools to get you started or just give you a boost to your creativity, and I'm really proud of it. A lot of love and work has gone into each item, and I really hope that they can help you achieve your art dreams, and who knows, maybe in 3 years from now you'll also be making a video about how you grew your own art business. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love sharing my journey with you all, so if you enjoyed it, then give it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already for more art and business videos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!